My hands won't stop shaking. I stare down at them, these traitor hands that can't even hold my boarding pass steady, and force myself to breathe. Just breathe. The fluorescent lights of JFK Terminal 4 buzz overhead, too bright, too harsh, making everything feel surreal and clinical. Around me, travelers rush past with their rolling suitcases and their normal lives, heading to normal destinations for normal reasons. I'm running for my life. The boarding pass crumples slightly in my grip, New York to Rome, one way, gate B37. Departure in 90 minutes. It cost me everything, literally everything. My savings account now shows $47.23. I sold my laptop, my grandmother's ring, even my winter coat. None of it was enough, so I maxed out the one credit card Marcus didn't know about, the one I'd hidden for emergencies. This qualifies as an emergency. My phone buzzes in my jacket pocket, and my heart stops. I don't need to look to know it's him. Marcus has called 47 times in the past 6 hours. The text stopped being apologetic around message 15. By message 30, they'd turned threatening. By message 40, he'd stopped pretending he wasn't going to find me. You can't hide from me, Emma. I know people. I will find you. He does know people. That's the problem. I thought Marcus was just controlling, the kind of boyfriend who needed to know where I was, who I was with, what I was wearing. Red flags I'd ignored because he was charming when he wanted to be, because I was lonely, because I'd convinced myself his jealousy meant he loved me. Then I'd seen the gun. Then I'd heard the conversation through his office door, the one about shipments and territories and what happens to people who talk. Then I'd understood that Marcus wasn't just controlling. He was dangerous. And I knew too much. If you're enjoying this story so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. I love hearing from you. The airport smells like recycled air, expensive coffee, and other people's anxiety. I clutch my backpack, my only luggage, closer to my chest and scan the crowd for the 100th time. Every man in a dark jacket makes my pulse spike. Every raised voice makes me flinch. Gate B37 is all the way at the end of the terminal. I calculated it deliberately, maximum distance from the entrance, maximum time for me to spot if he finds me, maximum proximity to security checkpoints. I start walking, keeping my head down, my hair falling forward to hide my face. I'd cut it this morning in a gas station bathroom, 10 inches of dark brown hair now lying in a trash can in Newark. It doesn't look good, choppy and uneven, but it doesn't look like me. That's all that matters. My phone buzzes again. And again. And again. I should turn it off, but I can't. Not yet. Mom is in the hospital in Rome, the cancer spreading faster than anyone expected. She doesn't know I'm coming. She doesn't know about Marcus, about any of this. I couldn't tell her, couldn't add to her burden when she's already fighting for every breath. The last time I called, her voice was so weak I could barely hear her. Emma, tesoro mio, don't worry about me. Focus on your life there. But there is no life here. Not anymore. I pass a newsstand, a Starbucks, a duty-free shop selling designer perfumes I'll never afford. The normal world feels like a museum exhibit I'm viewing through glass, there but untouchable, belonging to people whose biggest worry is whether their flight will be delayed. My stomach growls. I haven't eaten since yesterday morning, a granola bar I stole from the 24-hour gym where I hid last night, sleeping in a locked changing room after the overnight cleaning crew left. But food costs money, and I need every dollar I have left for when I land in Rome. If I land in Rome. I'm 20 yards from a cluster of uncomfortable-looking chairs near gate B35 when I see them. 3 men in suits. Not TSA, not airline staff, suits that cost more than my monthly rent used to, perfectly tailored, with the kind of subtle sheen that screams money. They're standing near the windows overlooking the tarmac, their backs to the crowd, but something about their posture radiates authority. Danger. The one in the middle holds a leather portfolio. The one on the left keeps his hand inside his jacket. The one on the right scans the terminal with the methodical precision of someone trained to notice threats. I should keep walking. Should ignore them. Should focus on getting to my gate and disappearing into the crowd. But then the one in the middle turns slightly, and I see his face. Dark hair swept back from a face that could be carved from marble, all sharp angles and controlled power. Even from this distance, I can see the intensity in his eyes, the way he commands the space around him without saying a word. He's maybe 35, but he has the kind of presence that makes age irrelevant. He's terrifying and magnetic in equal measure. They're conducting business. Right here in the middle of the airport terminal. The man with the portfolio opens it, showing something to the one in the middle, documents, maybe, or photographs. The conversation is too quiet for me to hear over the ambient noise of the terminal, but I can see the tension in their shoulders, the way their eyes keep scanning for observers. This is a transaction. An illegal one, probably. I should walk away. I don't. I'm frozen, standing stupidly in the middle of the terminal with my pathetic backpack and my destroyed hair and my $47, staring at men who are clearly not people you stare at. The man in the middle's eyes snap to mine. It's like being caught in a searchlight. His gaze locks onto me with such intensity that I physically take a step backward, my heart hammering against my ribs. For 3 seconds, 3 eternal seconds, we stare at each other across the crowded terminal. His eyes are dark, intelligent, and absolutely cold. Then someone slams into me from behind. I stumble forward, my backpack flying from my grip, its contents scattering across the polished floor. My phone skitters away, still buzzing with Marcus's relentless calls. My boarding pass flutters through the air like a wounded bird. Watch where you're going, the businessman who hit me snaps, not even slowing down. I drop to my knees, scrambling to gather my things, my passport, my phone, the boarding pass that's now been stepped on by at least 3 people. My hands are shaking worse than before, and tears of frustration burn behind my eyes. This is too much. It's all too much. I'm reaching for my phone when a hand appears in my field of vision. Not just any hand, a hand that's clearly manicured, with a watch that probably costs more than a car, attached to an arm and a suit sleeve that costs more than a car. I look up. The man from the group is standing over me, his hand extended, his face unreadable. Up close, he's even more striking, and more intimidating. There's a scar, barely visible, running along his jawline. His cologne is subtle and expensive, mixing with something else I can't quite identify. Danger, maybe. Power. Let me help, he says, and his voice is like dark honey, smooth, rich, with an accent I can't quite place. Italian, maybe. Or just the kind of careful diction that comes from spending time in multiple countries. I stare at his hand like it might bite me. I'm fine, I manage, my voice hoarse from crying and fear and exhaustion. I don't need. You're blocking traffic, he interrupts, but his tone isn't unkind. Just factual. And your phone is about to be crushed by that luggage cart. I glance over. He's right. A massive cart loaded with suitcases is bearing down on my phone, still buzzing insistently with Marcus's calls. The man moves faster than I would have thought possible for someone his size. He steps forward, scoops up my phone, and hands it to me, his fingers brushing mine for just a moment. The contact sends an electric shock up my arm. Thank you, I whisper, clutching the phone. He doesn't move away. Instead, he crouches down, actually crouches in his expensive suit, and starts gathering my scattered belongings. He picks up my boarding pass, his eyes scanning it before I can stop him. Rome, he says, more statement than question. One way. I snatch it from his hand, defensive. It's none of your business. No, he agrees, still collecting my things, a pack of tissues, a granola bar I'd forgotten I had, a crumpled photo of Mama from last Christmas. It's not. But he hands everything back to me with a care that seems at odds with the dangerous energy radiating from him. His eyes linger on the photo for just a moment, Mama in her garden, smiling despite the exhaustion already visible in her eyes. Your mother? He asks. I nod, not trusting myself to speak. He stands, pulling me up with him in one smooth motion. I'm on my feet before I can protest, and suddenly I'm standing way too close to him, close enough to see the flecks of amber in his dark eyes, close enough to feel the heat radiating from his body. You're afraid, he observes, and it's not a question. I'm fine, I repeat, but we both know it's a lie. His eyes drop to my phone, which is buzzing again in my hand. The screen lights up, Marcus, 48 missed calls. Something hardens in his expression. Someone you're running from. It's not a question, but I answer anyway. It's complicated. It usually is. He reaches into his jacket, the motion makes me flinch, but he just pulls out a business card, sleek and black with minimalist silver text. If you need help. I don't need help from strangers, I interrupt, even though I desperately need help. From anyone. From everyone. A ghost of a smile touches his lips. Smart. Don't trust strangers. He presses the card into my hand anyway. But keep it. Just in case. I look down at the card, Dante Caruso, with a phone number and nothing else. No company name, no title, no indication of what he actually does. Which probably means what he does isn't legal. I should go, I say, shoving the card into my pocket without thinking. My flight is in 73 minutes, he finishes. Gate B37. You have time. The fact that he memorized my boarding pass in the 3 seconds he looked at it sends a chill down my spine. How did you? I pay attention, he says simply. Then he glances over his shoulder at his companions, who are watching us with barely concealed interest. I have to finish my meeting. But Emma. My blood runs cold. I didn't tell you my name. He gestures to my backpack, where my employee ID from the coffee shop I quit last week is still attached to a side pocket, my name clearly visible, Emma Hartley. Pay attention, he repeats, and this time there's something almost protective in his tone. To everything. To everyone. If someone's following you, if something feels wrong, trust that instinct. Why are you telling me this? He studies me for a long moment, and I have the unsettling feeling that he's seeing much more than I want him to. Because you look like someone who needs to hear it. And because, he stops, seeming to reconsider whatever he was about to say. Just be careful, Emma. Then he's walking away, back to his associates, back to whatever illegal business transaction I interrupted by being clumsy and obvious. I stand there, clutching my backpack and my boarding pass and Dante Caruso's mysterious business card, my heart pounding for reasons that have nothing to do with Marcus. My phone buzzes again. This time, it's not Marcus. It's a text from an unknown number, Gate B37. I'll be watching until you board. You're safe. I look up sharply, scanning the terminal. Dante Caruso is back with his associates, the leather portfolio now closed, but his eyes are on me. Even from 30 yards away, I can feel the weight of his gaze. He nods once. A promise or a threat, I can't tell which. Then he turns away, and I'm left standing in the middle of JFK Airport, more confused and terrified than I was 5 minutes ago. Because now I have two problems. Marcus, who wants to drag me back into his nightmare. And Dante Caruso, who just inserted himself into my life for reasons I don't understand. I should throw away his card. I should board my plane and never think about him again. I should focus on getting to Mama, on rebuilding my life somewhere Marcus can't find me. But as I make my way toward Gate B37, weaving through the crowd of travelers who have no idea how close they just came to witnessing something dangerous, I can't stop thinking about the way Dante looked at me. Like I was a puzzle he needed to solve. Like I was something worth protecting. Like I was already his. Gate B37 is exactly as miserable as I expected, a cluster of worn chairs facing a wall of windows overlooking the tarmac, where planes taxi back and forth in the gray November drizzle. The gate isn't crowded yet, the flight doesn't board for another hour. I find a seat in the corner, as far from the main aisle as possible, and sink into it with a relief that makes my bones ache. My phone finally stops buzzing. I pull it out with trembling hands, staring at the screen. 49 missed calls. 63 text messages. 3 voicemails I'll never listen to. But nothing for the past 12 minutes. Either Marcus gave up, unlikely, or he's trying a different approach. The thought makes my stomach clench with fresh fear. I'm scrolling through my contacts, trying to decide if I should text anyone goodbye, when a woman sits down next to me. Not close enough to invade my space, but close enough that I can't help but notice her. She's older, maybe 60, with silver hair pulled into an elegant bun and expensive leather gloves folded in her lap. Everything about her screams old money, the kind of wealth that doesn't need to announce itself. "That's quite a story you have written all over your face, dear," she says in lightly accented English. Italian, I realize. Running from something, or running to something. I tense immediately. I don't know what you're talking about. Of course you don't. She smiles, and it's surprisingly kind. I'm Lucia. I couldn't help but notice your boarding pass earlier. We're on the same flight to Rome. Seat 14A. I glance at my own crumpled pass. Seat 23F. As far back as possible, the cheapest seat on the plane. Emma, I say reluctantly, then immediately regret giving my name to another stranger. Lucia nods as if she already knew. First time to Rome. No. I'm going to see my mother. My voice cracks. She's sick. Something softens in Lucia's expression. I'm sorry to hear that. There's nothing worse than watching someone you love suffer. She pauses, studying me with unsettling perception. But that's not the only reason you look like you're about to shatter, is it? I should tell her to mind her own business. Should put in headphones and ignore her. Should maintain the wall I've built around myself for the past 24 hours. But I'm so tired. So desperately tired of carrying everything alone. Someone's looking for me, I admit quietly. Someone I need to stay away from. Lucia's eyes sharpen. Dangerous? I nod. And you think getting on a plane to Rome will keep you safe? I think it's the only option I have left. She's quiet for a moment, her gloved hands folded neatly in her lap. Then she reaches into her elegant handbag and pulls out a small notepad and pen, writing something quickly before tearing off the page and handing it to me. If you need anything in Rome, a safe place to stay, someone to call, use this. She taps the paper. My nephew. He's well connected. He can help with certain kinds of problems. I stare at the name and phone number, Lorenzo Cattaneo. I can't. You can, Lucia interrupts gently. And you should. Whatever you're running from, it won't stay in New York forever. Men like that never do. She stands, smoothing her coat. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you land in Rome and that's the end of it. But if it's not. She nods at the paper. Don't be too proud to ask for help, Emma. She walks away before I can respond, disappearing into the growing crowd of travelers. I fold the paper and tuck it into my pocket next to Dante Caruso's card. 2 mysterious offers of help in under an hour. Either I'm incredibly lucky, or I'm walking into something much worse than Marcus. The next 45 minutes crawl by. I try to read a magazine someone left behind, but the words blur together. I try to sleep, but every time I close my eyes, I see Marcus's face, hear his voice promising he'll find me. My phone stays silent. That scares me more than the calls did. Finally, the gate agent announces pre-boarding. I stand, joining the line of passengers, my boarding pass clutched so tightly it's starting to tear. This is it. Once I'm on that plane, once the wheels leave the ground, I'm free. I'm almost to the agent, almost to safety, when I feel it. Someone watching me. Not the casual glance of a fellow traveler, but focused, intense attention that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I turn slowly, scanning the terminal. And I see him. Not Marcus, thank God, not Marcus. Dante Caruso. He's standing near the window, partially hidden by a concrete pillar, his phone to his ear but his eyes locked on me. He's not with his associates anymore. He's alone, and he's watching me with an expression I can't quite read. Our eyes meet across the terminal. He lowers his phone slowly, and even from this distance, I can see something shift in his face. Recognition. Decision. He starts walking toward me. My heart stops. Boarding pass, please. The gate agent's voice snaps me back to reality. I thrust my pass at her, not taking my eyes off Dante, who's moving through the crowd with the kind of smooth confidence that parts people like water. Enjoy your flight, Miss Hartley. I grab my pass back and rush down the jetway, my pulse thundering in my ears. What is he doing? Why is he still watching me? Why does he care? The plane is cold, the air stale with recycled breath and industrial cleaner. I find my seat, 23F, a window seat that requires me to climb over 2 other passengers already settled in. I mumble apologies, shoving my backpack under the seat in front of me, and press myself against the window. From here, I can see the terminal. See the people moving through it like blood cells through veins. And I can see Dante Caruso standing at the window, still watching. Even after they close the cabin door. Even after the plane starts to pull back from the gate. He doesn't move. Doesn't look away. Just watches until the plane turns, and I can't see him anymore. The plane climbs through the gray November sky, and with each foot of altitude gained, I feel the tension in my chest loosen slightly. Below us, New York sprawls, a grid of lights and life and everything I'm leaving behind. Everything Marcus represents. The woman next to me, middle seat, tourist class, is already asleep, her head lolling against the headrest. The man on the aisle has his laptop out, typing furiously. Normal people doing normal things. I press my forehead against the cold window and close my eyes. Made it. I actually made it. The relief is so overwhelming it brings tears I've been holding back for hours. They slide hot down my cheeks, and I don't bother wiping them away. No one's watching. No one cares about the girl in 23F having a breakdown at 30,000 feet. My phone is in airplane mode, silent and safe in my pocket next to 2 business cards from 2 different men offering help I don't understand. I should sleep. God knows I need it. But my mind won't stop racing, replaying every moment of the past 24 hours, every decision that brought me here, every mistake I made with Marcus that I should have seen coming. The flight attendants move through the cabin with their cart, offering drinks and snacks I can't afford. I ask for water, free, and sip it slowly, trying to make it last. 6 hours to Rome. 6 hours until I can see Mama, hold her hand, tell her everything's going to be okay even though we both know it's not. 6 hours until I figure out what comes next. The plane levels off, the seatbelt sign dings off, and I finally allow myself to breathe. That's when everything goes wrong. The first sign is subtle, a change in the engine sound, a slight wobble that could be normal turbulence. The businessman on the aisle glances up from his laptop, frowning slightly. Then the plane shudders. Hard. My water splashes across my lap, ice cold against my jeans. Around me, passengers gasp, gripping armrests, exchanging nervous glances. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. The voice is calm, professional, but I can hear the tension underneath. We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Flight attendants, prepare for possible emergency landing procedures. Emergency landing. The words hang in the air like smoke. The woman next to me wakes with a start. What's happening? I don't know, I whisper, but my hands are already gripping the armrests so hard my knuckles are white. The plane shudders again, more violently this time. The overhead bins rattle. Someone's bag falls into the aisle with a crash. Oh God, the woman breathes. Oh God, oh God. The oxygen masks drop. That's when the fear really hits, pure, animal terror that makes my vision tunnel and my heart hammer so hard I think it might burst. This is happening. This is actually happening. All around me, people are crying, praying, calling out to loved ones. The flight attendants move through the cabin with forced calm, helping people with their masks, checking seatbelts, their faces professionally blank but their eyes betraying their fear. I pull the mask over my face with shaking hands and stare out the window. We're descending. Fast. Too fast. The ground is coming up to meet us, not the grid of New York anymore, but something else. Water. No, land. Green spaces and highways and JFK. We're turning back to JFK. Brace positions. A flight attendant shouts. Head down, hands behind your neck. I bend forward, assuming the position they demonstrated during the safety briefing I barely paid attention to, my forehead pressing against the seat in front of me, my breath coming in short gasps through the oxygen mask. This can't be how it ends. Not like this. Not when I just escaped. Not when Mama's waiting for me. Not when I never got to live. The plane drops suddenly, and my stomach lurches into my throat. Someone screams. The lights flicker. God, please. Please. I think about Dante Caruso's dark eyes watching me from the terminal window. That strange moment of connection, of being seen by someone who looked at me like I mattered. I think about Mama in her hospital bed, waiting for a daughter who won't come. I think about Marcus, who will never know what happened to me, who will probably think I disappeared on purpose. The plane hits the ground. It's not smooth. It's violent and wrong and terrifying, a screeching, grinding impact that throws me against my seatbelt so hard I can't breathe. The plane bounces once, twice, and then we're skidding, the sound of tortured metal filling the cabin along with screams and the smell of burning rubber. We're going to flip. We're going to explode. We're going to. We stop. The sudden stillness is almost more shocking than the impact. For 3 heartbeats, no one moves. No one breathes. Then chaos erupts. Emergency exits. Move. Move. Flight attendants are shouting, yanking open doors, deploying slides. People are crying, screaming, scrambling over each other to get out. The woman next to me is frozen in her seat, her eyes wide and unseeing, shock written across her face. Come on, I gasp, grabbing her arm. We have to move. She doesn't respond. I shake her harder. Now. We have to go now. That breaks through. She blinks, focuses on me, and nods. We stand together on shaking legs, joining the crush of people surging toward the exits. Smoke is filling the cabin. Not thick yet, but enough to sting my eyes and throat. Somewhere behind us, something is burning. The aisle is gridlocked, too many people trying to move too fast, bottlenecking at the exits. Every second feels like an eternity. Every breath tastes like fear and smoke. Move! Someone shouts. The engine's on fire. That breaks the gridlock. People start shoving, no longer polite, just desperate to get out. I lose my grip on the woman from my row. I lose my backpack. I lose everything except the singular focus on getting to that exit, getting out, getting away from the burning metal coffin. I reach the emergency door. A flight attendant, young, barely older than me, with mascara running down her cheeks, grabs my arm. Jump and slide. Don't stop at the bottom. Then I'm on the inflated slide, falling too fast, hitting the tarmac hard enough to knock the breath from my lungs. People are yelling at me to move, to get away from the plane, but for a moment I just lie there on the cold concrete, staring up at the gray sky, unable to process that I'm alive. Alive. Miss. Miss, you need to move. Hands grab me, pull me to my feet, propel me forward. I run. Emergency vehicles are everywhere, fire trucks, ambulances, police cars, their lights painting the world in red and blue. Passengers are scattered across the tarmac, some walking, some being carried on stretchers, all of us looking like refugees from a war zone. I make it maybe 50 yards before my legs give out. I collapse onto the concrete, my whole body shaking so hard my teeth chatter. Around me, people are crying, hugging strangers, calling loved ones on recovered cell phones. I just sit there, my mind blank with shock, watching firefighters spray foam on the smoking engine, watching paramedics rush from person to person with their equipment and urgent voices. We crashed. The plane crashed, and I'm alive. The realization hits me in waves: relief, terror, disbelief, gratitude, guilt for being grateful when others might not have made it. Emma. The voice cuts through my shock like a blade. I look up. Dante Caruso is standing over me, his expensive suit disheveled, his perfect hair meshed by wind, his dark eyes blazing with something I can't name. How? My voice cracks. How did you? I saw the emergency landing on the news. He crouches down, his hands hovering near my shoulders like he wants to touch me but isn't sure he should. I drove here as fast as I could. Are you hurt? I shake my head, then nod, then shake it again. I don't know. I can't. Breathe, he says, and his voice is gentler than I've ever heard anyone speak to me. Just breathe, Emma. You're safe now. The plane crashed. The words sound absurd even as I say them. We were in the air and then we weren't in. I know. I know. He does touch me then, his hands on my shoulders, warm and solid and real. But you're here. You're alive. That's all that matters. I stare at him, this stranger who has inserted himself into the worst day of my life, who shouldn't be here, who has no reason to care. Why did you come? I whisper. You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. Something flickers across his face, something vulnerable and quickly hidden. I don't know, he admits. I saw you get on that plane, and I couldn't leave. I waited at the terminal, and when I saw the news, he stops, his jaw tightening. I just had to make sure you were okay. A paramedic approaches with a blanket and a bottle of water. Miss, I need to check you out. Any pain? Difficulty breathing? Dante steps back, letting them work, but he doesn't leave. He stands a few feet away, his hands in his pockets, watching as the paramedic examines me, asks questions I answer automatically, declares me miraculously uninjured except for minor bruises. "You're very lucky," the paramedic says, wrapping the blanket around my shoulders. Very lucky indeed. Lucky. I almost laugh. Nothing about the past 24 hours feels lucky. The paramedic moves on to the next passenger, and I'm left sitting on the cold tarmac, wrapped in a scratchy emergency blanket, watching the organized chaos unfold around me. Dante sits down next to me. We don't speak for a long time. Just sit there, two people who shouldn't know each other, brought together by chance and disaster. Finally, I break the silence. "I need to get to Rome." He looks at me like I've lost my mind. "You just survived a plane crash." "My mother is dying." The words come out flat, empty. "I need to get to Rome. I need to see her. Emma. I don't have another ticket. I don't have money for another ticket. I used everything I had." My voice breaks, and suddenly I'm crying, great heaving sobs that I can't control. "I sold everything. I have $47. I can't get to her. She's dying, and I can't." Dante's arms are around me before I realize he's moved. He pulls me against his chest, one hand cradling the back of my head, the other wrapped firmly around my shoulders. "I've got you," he murmurs into my hair. "I've got you. It's going to be okay." "It's not okay. Nothing's okay." "Then I'll make it okay." He pulls back enough to look at me, his hands framing my face, his thumbs wiping away my tears. "I'll get you to Rome. My jet, my pilot. We can leave as soon as they clear the airport for departures again." I stare at him. "You have a jet?" "Yes." "A private jet?" "Yes." Of course he does. Men like Dante Caruso, men conducting mysterious business deals in airport terminals, men with that kind of presence and power, of course they have private jets. I can't accept that, I say, but it sounds weak even to my own ears. "Why not?" "Because I don't know you. Because I can't afford to pay you back. Because," I stop, searching for words. "Because people like you don't help people like me without wanting something in return." His expression hardens slightly. "What do you think I want from you, Emma?" "I don't know," I admit. "That's what scares me." He's quiet for a moment, his dark eyes searching mine. Then he stands, pulling me up with him. "Come with me. Let me show you something." If you're hooked on this story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Your support means everything and helps me bring you more emotional stories like this one. He leads me away from the crash site, past the emergency vehicles and the gathered passengers, toward the terminal building. We don't speak. I'm too exhausted, too overwhelmed to question where we're going or why. Inside, the terminal is chaos, stranded passengers being rerouted, news crews setting up equipment, airport officials rushing around with tablets and phones. Dante navigates through it all with the ease of someone who's used to cutting through bureaucracy. We end up in a private lounge, the kind I didn't know existed until today. Quiet, elegant, with leather chairs and soft lighting and none of the chaos from outside. Dante's two associates from earlier are there, along with a woman I don't recognize, 30s, blonde, with the kind of polished efficiency that screams executive assistant. "Status?" Dante asks without preamble. "The airport's reopening in 3 hours," the woman reports, glancing at me with undisguised curiosity. "Your jet is fueled and ready. Flight plan to Rome is filed. We're just waiting for clearance." "Good. Have the car brought around. Ms. Hartley will need clothes and essentials." He looks at me. Size? I'm so stunned I answer automatically. 8. Medium. Shoe size 7. The woman nods, making notes on her tablet. Anything specific? Practical, Dante says before I can respond. Comfortable. And get her a proper carry-on. She lost her bag in the crash. I can't, I start, but he cuts me off with a look. Yes, you can. Alessandra, also contact the hospital in Rome. Get me the name and contact information for, he looks at me. Your mother's name. Rosa. Rosa Hartley. Rosa Hartley. Find out her condition, her doctors, what she needs. I want a full report by the time we're wheels up. Alessandra nods and disappears, phone already to her ear. I stand there in my smoke-stained clothes, wrapped in an emergency blanket, and stare at this man who's taking over my life with the same efficiency he probably uses to run his empire. Stop, I say quietly. He turns to me, one eyebrow raised. Just stop. Please. I wrap the blanket tighter around myself. I don't understand what's happening. I don't understand why you're doing this. You saw me for 5 minutes in a terminal. I dropped my stuff. You helped me pick it up. That's it. That's all we are to each other. Is it? His voice is soft, dangerous. Yes. It has to be. Because I can't, I shake my head. I can't owe anyone anything right now. I can't be in anyone's debt. I'm barely holding myself together, and I gesture helplessly at the luxury lounge, at his associates, at the casual way he commands resources I can't even imagine. You're too much. This is too much. He studies me for a long moment, and I can see him weighing something, deciding something. You're right, he says finally. You don't know me. And I shouldn't insert myself into your life like this. He moves closer, his presence overwhelming in the quiet space. But I'm going to anyway. Do you know why? I shake my head. Because when I saw you standing in that terminal, terrified and trying so hard to be brave, something in me recognized something in you. His voice drops lower. Because I know what it's like to be afraid and alone and pretending you're not. Because I saw that boarding pass, one way, last minute, everything you own in a backpack, and I knew exactly what you were running from. You don't know anything about me. Don't I? He reaches into his pocket and pulls out his phone, tapping the screen a few times before showing it to me. It's a photo. Marcus, standing outside my old apartment building, talking to a man I don't recognize. The timestamp is from this morning. My blood runs cold. How did you? I made some calls. Asked some questions. Dante's expression is grim. Marcus DeLuca. Low-level enforcer for the Colombo family. Not made, not important, but connected enough to be dangerous. Especially to civilians who get in his way. I'm going to be sick. You had me investigated. I had him investigated. There's a difference. Dante pockets his phone. The second I saw the way you flinched when your phone rang, the second I saw his name on your screen with 48 missed calls, I knew. And I couldn't, he stops, something like frustration crossing his face. I couldn't just let you get on that plane and hope you'd be safe. So you what? Appointed yourself my protector. The words come out sharper than I intend, fear transmuting into anger. Decided you'd swoop in and save the poor, helpless girl. No. His voice hardens to match mine. I decided I wouldn't stand by and watch another woman get hurt by men like him when I had the power to help. Another woman. The words hang between us, weighted with history I don't understand. Who? I ask quietly. My sister. He turns away, but not before I see the flash of old pain in his eyes. She was 19. Got involved with the wrong man. Wouldn't leave him, wouldn't let anyone help her. His hands curl into fists at his sides. By the time we found her, it was too late. The anger drains out of me, replaced by something softer. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be smart. Let me help you. He turns back to me, and there's something raw in his expression now, something unguarded. Not because I think you're helpless. Not because I want something from you. But because I can, and because if I don't, I'll spend the rest of my life wondering if you ended up like Julia. I stare at him, this dangerous, complicated man who just handed me a piece of his soul wrapped in a demand I can't refuse. Okay, I whisper. Okay. Okay. I'll let you help me. But, I hold up a hand when I see the relief flash across his face. I'm paying you back. I don't know how. I don't know when. But I'm not a charity case, and I'm not a damsel in distress. This is a loan. An investment. Whatever you want to call it. But it's temporary. A smile tugs at the corner of his mouth. Temporary. Yes. We'll see about that. Before I can process what he means by that, Alessandra returns with an armful of shopping bags. Everything you requested. The car's outside whenever you're ready. I look at the bags, expensive department store logos I recognize but have never shopped at, and then at Dante, who's watching me with an expression I can't quite read. There's a bathroom through there, he says, gesturing to a door I hadn't noticed. Go clean up. Change. Take your time. We're not leaving until you're ready. Dante. Emma. He steps closer, his voice dropping to that soft, dangerous register that makes my pulse quicken. Let someone take care of you. Just for a little while. Just until we get you to your mother. Then you can go back to being strong and independent and determined to do everything yourself. His hand comes up to tuck a strand of my chopped hair behind my ear, the gesture surprisingly gentle. But for right now, let me do this. I nod, not trusting my voice, and take the bags from Alessandra. The bathroom is as luxurious as the rest of the lounge, all marble and gold fixtures and lights that are actually flattering. I catch sight of myself in the mirror and almost don't recognize the wild-eyed, smoke-stained woman staring back. I survived a plane crash. The thought hits me again, and I have to grip the marble countertop to stay upright. I survived. I'm here. I'm alive. And Dante Caruso, a man I met 3 hours ago, a man who is clearly involved in things I don't want to know about, is the reason I'm going to make it to Rome. I strip off my ruined clothes and shower in the private stall, scrubbing the smell of smoke and fear from my skin until it's pink and raw. The shopping bags contain exactly what I need, comfortable jeans that fit perfectly, a soft sweater, undergarments still in their packaging, leather boots that look expensive but feel like clouds. There's also a leather carry-on bag, already packed with essentials, toiletries, a phone charger, tissues, pain relievers, even a book. Someone, Alessandra, probably, thought of everything. I dress slowly, savoring the feeling of clean clothes, of being taken care of in a way I haven't been in years. Maybe ever. When I emerge, Dante is on his phone, speaking in rapid Italian. He ends the call when he sees me, and something shifts in his expression, appreciation, maybe, or satisfaction. Better, he asks. Better, I admit. Good. The car's ready. We should go. He guides me out of the lounge with a hand at the small of my back, a gesture that's becoming familiar, protective without being possessive. The car is another sleek black SUV with tinted windows, and inside I find Lucia, the elegant older woman from the gate. Lucia. I'm so surprised I stop short. What are you doing here? She smiles that knowing smile. My flight was on your plane, dear. I've been waiting to make sure you were all right. She looks at Dante, and something passes between them, recognition, understanding. Dante. It's been too long. Zia, Dante says, and there's warmth in his voice I haven't heard before. You're looking well. Zia. Aunt. You two know each other. I look between them, pieces clicking into place. When you gave me your nephew's number. I was giving you Dante's number, Lucia confirms. Though I used Lorenzo's name because I suspected you'd never call if you knew the truth. Which is? I'm almost afraid to ask. Dante and Lucia exchange a glance. Then he says simply, that I'm exactly the kind of dangerous man you should stay away from, Emma. But I'm also the only one who can keep you safe from Marcus DeLuca. The car pulls away from the terminal, and I watch JFK disappear in the side mirror, the crashed plane being examined by investigators, the emergency vehicles still scattered across the tarmac, the whole surreal nightmare receding into the distance. I should be terrified. Should demand to be let out. Should run as far from Dante Caruso and his world as I can get. But I don't. Because as the city lights blur past the windows and Dante's hand finds mine in the darkness of the back seat, his fingers lacing through mine with surprising gentleness, I realize something terrifying. I don't want to run from him. I want to run to him. And that might be the most dangerous decision of all. Dante's private jet is nothing like the commercial plane I just survived crashing, that it's a cocoon of luxury, cream leather seats wide enough to sleep in, polished wood surfaces, ambient lighting that actually makes people look human instead of half dead. There's a bedroom in the back, a full galley, and what appears to be an office space where Dante's associates have already set up laptops and phones. That I sink into a seat near the window, still clutching the new carry-on bag, still trying to process the fact that 3 hours ago I was trapped in a burning plane and now I'm on a private jet to roam with a man who might be more dangerous than the one I'm running from. Lucia settles across from me, her elegant hands folded in her lap. You're wondering what you've gotten yourself into, she observes. Among other things. She smiles. Dante is a good man, Emma. But he's also a complicated one. His world isn't simple. It isn't safe. But if he's decided to protect you, she pauses, choosing her words carefully. Then you're safer than you've ever been in your life. Even from Marcus. Especially from Marcus. Her eyes harden slightly. Men like Marcus DeLuca are bullies. They prey on the vulnerable, the isolated, the ones who have nowhere else to turn. But Dante. She glances toward the back of the plane where Dante is speaking in low tones with his associates. Dante is a wolf. And wolves protect their pack. I'm not his pack. I'm a stranger he met in an airport. Are you? Lucia's gaze is knowing. Because from where I'm sitting, he's looking at you like you're something much more than that. I glance over. Dante is watching me even as he speaks on his phone, his dark eyes tracking my movements with an intensity that makes my breath catch. He said he'd help me because of his sister, I say quietly. Because he couldn't save her. That's part of it, Lucia agrees. But not all of it. Dante doesn't do anything out of simple guilt, Emma. If he's inserted himself into your life like this, it's because he wants to be there. She leans forward slightly. The question is, do you want him there? I don't have an answer for that. The pilot announces our imminent departure, and I fasten my seatbelt with hands that are almost steady now. The engines roar to life, and we taxi toward the runway. Dante finishes his call and moves to sit beside me, his large frame filling the space in a way that should feel intrusive but somehow doesn't. How are you holding up? He asks. I survived a plane crash and I'm on a private jet with a man I met 5 hours ago. I honestly don't know. A smile tugs at his mouth. Fair enough. He pauses. I had my people contact your mother's hospital. She's stable. The doctors say she'll be lucid when we arrive. Relief floods through me so powerfully it brings tears to my eyes. Thank you, I whisper. Thank you for, I gesture helplessly at everything. All of this. You don't need to thank me, Emma. Yes, I do. You didn't have to, I did. His voice is firm, leaving no room for argument. I absolutely did. The plane accelerates down the runway, and I grip the armrests instinctively, my body remembering the terror of the crash even as my mind tries to rationalize that we're safe now. Dante's hand covers mine, warm and solid. I've got you, he murmurs. Nothing's going to happen. I promise. The plane lifts off smoothly, and New York drops away beneath us, the city lights, the harbor, the life I'm leaving behind. Tell me about your mother, Dante says once we've reached cruising altitude. So I do. I tell him about Mama's garden in Rome, about how she taught me to make pasta from scratch when I was 6, about the way she sang while she cooked. I tell him about her diagnosis, stage 4 pancreatic cancer, the kind that steals people slowly and cruelly. I tell him about how I'd been saving for months to visit her, how Marcus had sabotaged every attempt, how the money I'd scraped together had disappeared from our joint account until I'd finally hidden that one credit card. Dante listens without interrupting, his hand still covering mine, his thumb tracing absent circles on my skin. She doesn't know about Marcus, I admit. I couldn't tell her. She was already so sick, and I didn't want, my voice breaks. I didn't want her to worry about me when she should be focusing on getting better. Even though she's not going to get better, Dante says gently. That I nod, tears spilling over. Even though. He pulls me against his side, and I let him, too exhausted to maintain the walls I've built. His cologne surrounds me, something expensive and masculine that shouldn't be comforting but is. When my sister died, he says quietly, I told myself I'd never let it happen again. That I'd never stand by while someone I cared about was in danger. His arms tighten around me. I know we just met, Emma. I know this doesn't make sense. But when I saw you in that terminal, something in me just, he pauses, searching for words. Decided. You're mine to protect now. Whether you like it or not. I should protest. Should tell him I'm not his anything, but I don't, because in this moment, being his to protect sounds like the safest thing in the world. That I wake to the smell of coffee and the sensation of movement. For a disoriented moment, I can't remember where I am. Then it comes back in a rush, the crash, Dante, the jet. That I'm lying in the bedroom at the back of the plane, tucked under a cashmere blanket I don't remember getting. Through the window, I can see dawn breaking over the Atlantic, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. Someone knocked softly on the door. Emma. We'll be landing in 20 minutes. Alessandra's voice, professional and kind. That I sit up, running my hands through my disaster of a haircut, and find fresh clothes laid out on the chair, black pants, a soft gray sweater, everything I need. Dante thought of everything. That I dress quickly and emerge to find the main cabin bathed in morning light. Dante is at one of the tables, a laptop open in front of him, his shirt sleeves rolled up to reveal strong forearms. That he looks up when I approach, and something softens in his expression. Sleep okay? Better than I expected. I slide into the seat across from him. Thank you for, I gesture at the bedroom. I don't even remember falling asleep. You were exhausted. I carried you back about 3 hours into the flight. He closes the laptop. Coffee? Alessandra made a fresh pot. I accept the cup he pours, wrapping my hands around the warmth. Through the window, I can see the Italian coastline coming into view, green hills, terracotta roofs, the Mediterranean sparkling in the morning sun. Home, the word hits me with unexpected force. I hadn't realized how much I'd missed Italy until this moment. We're landing at a private airfield outside Rome. Dante explains. A car will take us directly to the hospital. I've arranged for a private room for your mother, better care, more comfort. He pauses. And more security. That last word sends a chill through me. You think Marcus will follow me here? I think men like Marcus don't let go easily. Especially when they've been embarrassed. Dante's expression hardens. He knows you ran. He'll want to prove he can get you back, if only to save face. So what do we do? We keep you safe. I have people watching the airports, train stations, all the major entry points. If he tries to enter Italy, I'll know. His eyes meet mine, dark and serious. He won't touch you, Emma. I promise you that. The plane descends smoothly, nothing like the terror of the crash, and touches down on Italian soil with barely a bump. As we taxi toward a small hangar, I see 3 black SUVs waiting on the tarmac. Security, Dante says before I can ask. Just a precaution. A precaution that involves 6 men with the kind of build and watchful eyes that scream bodyguard or worse. This is his world. Power and danger wrapped in expensive suits and leather interiors, and I'm choosing to enter it. The hospital is on the outskirts of Rome, a modern building surrounded by gardens that remind me of the ones Mommy used to tend. Dante's hand is at my back as we enter, a touch that's becoming familiar, grounding. 3rd floor, he says. Room 304. Take your time. I'll be right outside if you need me. I nod, my throat too tight for words, and make my way to the elevator. Room 304 is at the end of a quiet hallway. Through the door's window, I can see Mama in the bed, her eyes closed, her body so small it barely makes a dent in the mattress. I push open the door with trembling hands. Mama. Her eyes flutter open, and when she sees me, her face transforms, joy and disbelief and love all at once. Emma, she breathes, her voice weak but clear. Mia bambina. You came. I rush to her bedside, taking her frail hand in mine, careful of the 4 lines and monitors. Of course I came, Mama. I'm so sorry it took so long. I'm so sorry, Shoo. She squeezes my hand with surprising strength. You're here now. That's all that matters. Her eyes trace my face, taking in the changes. Your hair. You cut it. I needed a change. Her gaze sharpens despite her illness. Or you needed to hide. She touches my cheek with her free hand. What happened, Tesoro? What are you running from? I can't lie to her. Not now. Not when time is so precious. So I tell her everything. About Marcus, about the control that turned to threats, about discovering his connections, about running with nothing but a backpack and hope. Mama listens without interrupting, and when I finish, tears are sliding down her weathered cheeks. My brave girl, she whispers. My brave, foolish girl. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you ask for help? Because you were sick. Because you had enough to worry about. Nonsense. Her grip tightens. A mother always worries about her child. Always. That's what we do. She pauses, studying my face. But you're safe now, yes? You got away. I hesitate. It's complicated. The man who brought you here. The one waiting outside. He's part of the complication. I shouldn't be surprised she knows. Mama has always been able to read me like a book. Yes. Is he good to you? The question catches me off guard. Mama, I barely know him. That's not what I asked. Her eyes, still sharp despite the morphine haze, bore into mine. Is he good to you, Emma? Does he treat you with respect? With care? I think about Dante's hand covering mine on the plane, about the way he carried me to bed when I fell asleep, about the fierce protectiveness in his voice when he talked about keeping me safe. Yes, I admit quietly. He is. Mama nods, satisfied. Then perhaps this complication is not such a bad thing. She coughs, a wet, rattling sound that makes my heart clench. Promise me something, bambina. Anything. Promise me you'll let yourself be happy. That you won't spend your life running or hiding or being afraid. She touches my face again, her hand trembling. Promise me you'll live. Mama, promise me, Emma. I promise, I whisper, tears streaming down my face. She smiles, peaceful. Good. Now tell me about this man. Is he handsome? Despite everything, I laugh. Very. Italian. His aunt is. I think he grew up between Italy and America. Bene. Italian men know how to treat a woman properly. She closes her eyes, exhaustion pulling at her. Bring him in. I want to meet the man who put that look on your daughter's face. What look? The look of someone who's found something worth staying for. Dante enters the hospital room with surprising reverence, removing his suit jacket and draping it carefully over a chair before approaching Mama's bed. Signora Hartley, he says in perfect Italian, taking her hand gently. It's an honor to meet you. Your daughter speaks of you with great love. Mama's eyes open, assessing him with the particular scrutiny only an Italian mother can muster. Dante Caruso. I know that name. Many people do, Dante says carefully. Your father was Antonio Caruso. He worked in shipping. Dante's expression shifts, surprise, then something like grief. You knew him. I knew of him. My father worked the docks in Rome before we moved to Florence. Antonio Caruso was a name spoken with respect. Her gaze sharpens. And fear. My father's business was complicated. As is yours, I suspect. She squeezes his hand with surprising strength. But you brought my daughter back to me. For that, you have my gratitude. She pauses, her breathing labored. Take care of her. She's stronger than she knows, but she's been hurt. She needs someone who will see her strength and cherish it, not try to break it. I will, Dante says, and there's a weight to the promise that makes my chest tighten. You have my word. Mama nods, satisfied, and her eyes drift closed as I spend the next 2 hours sitting beside her bed, holding her hand, telling her stories about New York and the coffee shop where I worked and anything except Marcus. Dante sits in the corner, his laptop open but his attention divided between his work and us. Eventually, a nurse comes to check Mama's vitals, and Dante suggests we step out to let her rest. That I and the hallway, away from Mama's hearing. I finally let myself break down. Dante catches me before I hit the floor, pulling me into his arms as I sob against his chest, grief and fear and exhaustion pouring out in great, gasping waves. She's dying, I choke out between sobs. She's dying, and I can't stop it. I can't fix it. I can't, I know. His hand strokes my hair, his voice low and soothing. I know, Cara. I'm so sorry. I just got here. I can't finish the sentence that we stand there in the hospital hallway, him holding me while I fall apart, until I have no tears left. Come, Dante says finally, his voice gentle. Let's get you somewhere you can rest properly. We're not far from my villa. You can shower, sleep, eat something real. I should stay with Mama. Your mother is sleeping. The nurses have my number. If anything changes, we'll be back here in 15 minutes. He tips my chin up, forcing me to meet his eyes. You can't take care of her if you don't take care of yourself first. He's right. I know he's right, but leaving feels like abandonment. 1 hour, Dante says, reading my hesitation. Rest for 1 hour, then we'll come back. I promise. I nod, too exhausted to argue. Dante's villa is in the hills overlooking Rome, ancient stone and modern glass blended seamlessly, surrounded by olive groves and gardens that would make Mama weep with joy. This is yours. I ask as we pull through iron gates that probably cost more than most houses. One of several properties. This one's my favorite. He helps me out of the car, his hand warm and steady. Come. I'll show you to a room. The interior is all exposed beams and terracotta floors and artwork that looks museum quality. Staff appear from nowhere, a housekeeper who takes my bag, a chef who asks about meal preferences, guards who station themselves at strategic points. This is what power looks like. Real power. Dante leads me upstairs to a suite that's bigger than my entire New York apartment. Bathrooms through there. There are clothes in the closet. I had Alessandra stock it with your size. Rest, shower, whatever you need. Dante, I don't know how to finish the sentence. Thank you. Why are you doing this? What do you want from me? He seems to understand anyway. Rest, Emma. We'll talk later. He leaves, and I'm alone in a room that costs more per night than I used to make in a month. That I should feel out of place. Should feel like an imposter. Instead, I feel safe. That I shower, letting the hot water wash away the hospital smell and the lingering smoke from the crash. The clothes in the closet are exactly my style, simple, comfortable, but clearly expensive. I choose soft pants and a cashmere sweater that feels like being wrapped in a cloud. When I emerge, I find Dante on the terrace overlooking the hills, a glass of wine in his hand, his tie loosened and his expression distant. Can't sleep either. I ask, joining him at the railing. That he glances at me, something flickering in his eyes. Too much on my mind. Want to talk about it? Not particularly. He pours a second glass of wine and hands it to me. How are you holding up? Honestly, I don't know. I keep thinking I should feel something, sad, scared, grateful, angry. But I just feel numb. Shock, he says. You've been through multiple traumas in less than 24 hours. Your brain is protecting you. We stand in comfortable silence, watching the sun set over Rome, painting the ancient city in gold and rose. Why me? I ask finally. Of all the people in that airport, why did you choose to help me? Dante is quiet for so long I think he won't answer. Then, do you believe in fate, Emma? I don't know. Maybe. I didn't. Not before yesterday. He turns to face me fully, setting down his wine. But when I saw you drop your things, when I saw the fear in your eyes and the determination underneath it, something in me just, he pauses, searching for words. Recognized you. Like I'd been waiting for you without knowing it. My heart is pounding. That's insane. I know. But here we are. His hand comes up to cup my cheek, his thumb brushing my skin with devastating gentleness. I can't explain it, Emma. I just know that from the moment I saw you, walking away wasn't an option. Even though you don't know me. I know you're brave. I know you're loyal. You sold everything you had to get to your dying mother. I know you're running from a man who hurt you, but you're not broken by it. I know. His voice drops lower. I know when you look at me, you see me. Not my money, not my reputation, not what I can do for you. Just me. I don't know what you can do for me, I point out. I still don't really know what you do. A grim smile touches his lips. Probably better that way. Is it illegal? Some of it. Not all. Dangerous. Always. I should be afraid. Should put distance between us. Instead, I step closer. I'm not your sister, Dante. I'm not Julia. You don't have to save me to make up for not saving her. Pain flashes across his face. I know that. Do you? Because it feels like you're trying to rescue me, and I need you to understand something. I put my hand over his, still cupping my face. I don't need rescuing. I struggle for words. I need someone who sees me as strong enough to stand beside them. not behind them. He stares at me for a long moment, and I can see the war in his eyes, the instinct to protect warring with respect for my agency. Beside me, he repeats slowly. Even though my world is dangerous. Especially because your world is dangerous. Because hiding me away won't keep me safe from Marcus. And it won't make me happy. His other hand comes up to frame my face, his dark eyes searching mine with an intensity that steals my breath. You're asking me to put you in danger. I'm asking you to trust that I can handle it. Kazo, he mutters, and then his lips are on mine. The kiss is nothing like I expected, not gentle, not tentative. It's fierce and claiming, his hands sliding into my hair, his body pressing mine back against the terrace railing. I kiss him back with equal fervor, 6 months of fear and loneliness pouring out into this moment of connection. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. This is a bad idea, Dante says, but he doesn't let me go. Probably. You're vulnerable. Grieving. Exhausted. I'm also an adult who knows what she wants. I pull him back down to me. And right now, I want this. I want you. His control shatters. He kisses me again, deeper this time, and I lose myself in the taste of him, in the feel of his hands on my body, in the knowledge that for the first time in months, maybe years, I'm choosing something for myself. Not running. Not hiding. Choosing. We're interrupted by Dante's phone buzzing insistently in his pocket. He ignores it the first time. The second time, he pulls back with a curse. I'm sorry. I have to. It's okay. I smooth down my sweater, trying to calm my racing heart. Answer it. He pulls out his phone, and I see his expression shift from frustrated to alert to furious in the space of seconds. When, he snaps into the phone. How did he listens, jaw tightening. Kazo. Fine. Lock down the villa. Double the guard at the hospital. And find him. He hangs up and turns to me, his eyes dark with barely controlled rage. We need to go. Now. What's wrong? Marcus DeLuca just landed in Rome. The drive back to the hospital is silent and tense. Dante's hand is clenched around his phone, his jaw tight, while his driver navigates the narrow Roman streets at speeds that should be illegal. I stare out the window, my mind racing. Marcus is here. In Italy. He followed me across an ocean. How did he find me so fast? I ask, my voice barely steady. My breath catches. Is that a proposal? It's a promise. When you're ready, a month from now, a year from now, ask me, and I'll make you mine in every way that matters. I should be terrified of how fast this is moving. Should demand time to think, to process, to be sure. But I am sure. Ask you. I raise an eyebrow. I thought you were the one in charge here. His laugh is rich and genuine. With you, Kara. I'm beginning to think I never stood a chance. I lean into him, his arm coming around me naturally, and we watch the sun paint Rome in gold. A week ago, I was a terrified girl running from a nightmare with nothing but a backpack and a prayer. Now I'm sitting in an Italian villa with a man who looked at me and decided I was worth fighting for. It doesn't make sense. It happened too fast. It's not the story I thought I'd have. But it's mine. And that's enough. 6 months later. The ring on my finger catches the Roman sunlight as I stand at the window of what's now my studio, a room in the Villa Dante converted specifically for my work. Work that involves translating business documents, yes, but also liaising between Dante's legitimate business interests and the Italian partners who prefer dealing with someone who speaks both languages fluently and understands both cultures deeply. I'm not just arm candy. I'm an asset. And I love it. Emma. Dante's voice calls from downstairs. Car's here. We need to leave in 5 minutes. Coming. I grab my bag, designer now, a birthday gift from Lucia, and head downstairs. Dante's waiting in the foyer, devastating in a charcoal suit, his dark eyes warming when he sees me. Beautiful, he says, pulling me in for a kiss. Ready? As I'll ever be. We're heading to a meeting with potential investors for one of Dante's legitimate ventures, a restaurant group that's expanding into northern Italy. I'll be translating, negotiating, making sure nothing gets lost in translation. Being seen and valued for my skills, not just my connection to Dante. In the car, his hand finds mine automatically. Nervous, he asks. A little. But good nervous. You'll be perfect. You always are. He lifts my hand to his lips. Have I told you today that I love you? Only 3 times. You're slipping. His laugh is warm. Ti amo, mia vita. Better. Better. I lean against his shoulder, watching Rome speed by through tinted windows, protected by guards in the cars ahead and behind us. This is my life now. Complicated. Dangerous sometimes. Definitely not conventional. But it's mine by choice. And every day, I choose it again. Every day, I choose him. And when I whisper, Ti amo, back, I mean it with everything I am. Marcus DeLuca is a footnote in someone else's story now, deported back to New York, stripped of his connections, warned that Italian soil is forever forbidden to him. Mama is at peace in the hills she loved. And I'm finally living. Not running. Not hiding. Not afraid. Just living. With a man who looked at me across an airport terminal and decided I was worth the chaos. And who, every single day, proves he was right. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you loved this story, check out the other videos on your screen now. I think you'll really enjoy them. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next story.